Kashi Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhanju Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajakaacharya Astaterasita Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajakaacharya Astaterasita Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai, welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission morning class. Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Dena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Haribol. Continuing to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is Anchalila Volume 2 and chapter number 12. Excuse me. Chapter number 13, The Pastimes with Jagadananda and Raghunath Das Goswami. So Jagadananda Pandit wants to go to Vrindavan. And before, Mahaprabhu refused to let him go. But now he is saying, yes, you can go, but under these strict restrictions. You stay with Sanatana Goswami all the time. Always be with Sanatana. Don't mix freely with the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So we have to remember something. When Jagadananda Pandit goes to Vrindavan, it is not the same as when we go to Vrindavan. His perception of Vrindavan is not like ours. We are seeing the surface, and he is seeing really Vrindavan, as far as his rasa is allowing. But Mahaprabhu, understanding the mood of Jagadananda Pandit, being Satyabhama in Dwarka Leela and Krishna Leela, he can't mix freely with the inhabitants of Vrindavan, but he can observe and stay under the protection of Sanatana Goswami. These are very fine things. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shabha Bhakta Ganatani Agya Magila Vanapate Chali Chali Varanasi Aila. He took permission, meaning Jagadananda Pandit. Jagadananda Pandit took permission from all the devotees and then departed. Traveling on the forest path, he soon reached Varanasi. Tapanamisha Chandrasekhar Donhare Milila Taratanya Prabhura Kata Shakala Ishunila. When he met Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar in Varanasi, they heard from him about topics concerning Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maturate Ashi Milila Sanatane Dui Janera Shange Dunhe Anandita Mane. Ananya, are you able to listen? Okay, you can hear. Okay. Okay, we'll just keep the Maturate ashimili lasanatane duijane rashange dunhi ananditamane. Finally, Jagadananda Pandit reached Mathura, where he met Sanatana Goswami. They were very pleased to see each other. Sanatana karailatare dvada shavana darshana gokule rahila dunhe dekhi mahavana. After Sanatana Goswami had taken Jagadananda to see all 12 forests of Vrindavan, concluding with Mahavan, the two of them remained in Gokula. So this is one of the instructions of Mahaprabhu to Jagadananda Pandit, that they will go to all the forests of Varanasi. I think so. Visit all the 12 forests of Vrindavan, yeah. All right. Sanatana Gopate Gdunhirahe Akatani Pandita Paka Karena Devalaye Jai. They stayed in Sanatana Goswami's cave, but Jagadananda Pandit would go to a nearby temple and cook for himself. Sanatana Bhiksha Karena Jai Mahavane Kabu Devalaye Kabu Brahmana Sadane. Sanatana Goswami would beg alms from door to door in the vicinity of Mahavan. Sometimes he would go to a temple and sometimes to a Brahman's house. Sanatana Panditera Kare Samadhana Mahavane Dena Animage Anapana. Sanatana Goswami attended to all of Jagadananda Pandit's needs. He begged in the area of Mahavan and brought Jagadananda all kinds of things to eat and drink. So Sanatana Goswami always took charge of all the devotees in Vrindavan. Anyone who came to Vrindavan, he would take care about their necessities. Akadina Sanatane Panditani Mantrila Nitya Kritya Karite Hapaka Chadaila. One day, Jagadananda Pandit, having invited Sanatana to the nearby temple for lunch, finished his routine duties and began to cook. So he has all the ingredients. Now he goes to this temple every day to cook. And he's invited Sanatana Goswami to come and take prasadam. Mukunda Saraswati Nama Sanyasi Mahajane Aka Pahirvasa Teho Dila Sanatane. Previously, a great sannyasi named Mukunda Saraswati had given Sanatana Goswami an outer garment. Sanatana Sevastra Mastake Bandiya Jagadanandera Basha Dware Bashila Ashiya. Sanatana Goswami was wearing this cloth bound to his head when he came to Jagadananda Pandit's door and sat down. Ratula Vasra Deki Pandita Prema Vishta Haila Mahaprabhura Prasada Jani Tahare Puchila. Assuming the reddish cloth to be a gift from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagadananda was overwhelmed with ecstatic love. Thus he questioned Sanatana Goswami. Taha paila tumiye ratula basana Mukunda Saraswati Dila Kahe Sanatana. Where did you get that reddish cloth on your head? Jagadananda asked. Sanatana Goswami replied, Mukunda Saraswati gave it to me. Shuni Panditera Mani Kroda Upajila Patera Hanyi Hate Lanya Marite Aila. Hearing this, Jagadananda Pandit immediately became very angry and took the cooking pot in his hand, intending to beat Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Tare Chani Lajita Haila Balite Lagila Pandita Hani Chulate Tarila. Sanatana Goswami, however, knew Jagadananda Pandit very well and was consequently somewhat ashamed. Jagadananda therefore left the cooking pot on the stove and spoke as follows. Tumi Mahaprabhu Hao Parshada Pradana Toma Shama Mahaprabhura Priya Nahiana. You are one of the chief associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Indeed, no one is dearer to him than you. This is Jagadananda Pandit speaking to Sanatana Goswami. So, because Sanatana Goswami understands the intense mood of Jagadananda Pandit toward Mahaprabhu, he was thinking, he's thinking badly of me because I'm wearing something that was given by someone else. And so he's a little shy about that in front of Jagadananda because he knows Jagadananda Prabhu's feeling. So seeing this, Jagadananda just spoke to Sanatana Goswami. Anya sanya shira vastra tumidara shire kon aiche hai ihapare sahibare. So you are like no one is dearer to Mahaprabhu than you, but still you have bound your head with a cloth given to you by another sannyasi. Who can tolerate such behavior? Sanatana kahe sadhu pandita mahashai toma shama chaitanyera priya kehanai. Sanatana Goswami, my dear Jagadananda Pandit, you are a great learned saint. No one is dearer to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu than you. Aiche Chaitanya Nishta Yogya Tomate Tumina Dekaile Iha Shikabike Mate. This faith in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quite befits you. Unless you demonstrate it, how could I learn such faith? No one else could even show it to me. You would have to show this to me. Jaha deki baravashtra mastake bandila se apurva prema e pratyaksha dekila. My purpose in binding my head with the cloth has now been fulfilled because I have personally seen your uncommon love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rakta vastra vaishnavera paritena yujaya Krona prava shire dimukhi kaya uhaya. This saffron cloth is unfit for a Vaishnava to wear. Therefore, I have no use for it. I shall give it to a stranger. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on this incident as follows. Vaishnavas are all liberated persons, unattached to anything material. Therefore, a Vaishnava need not accept the dress of a sannyasi to prove his exalted position. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order of sannyas of the Mayavad school, and present-day Vaishnava sannyasis, however, never think that by accepting the dress of sannyas order, they have become equal to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, a Vaishnava accepts the sannyas order, knowing that he is unequal to his spiritual master, who is a Paramahamsa, and he thinks that he is unfit to dress like a Paramahamsa. Therefore, Vaishnava accepts sannyas out of humility, not out of pride. That is a very sweet point. He feels unfit. He's not a Paramahamsa. He's simply the servant of his spiritual master, who is a Paramahamsa. And he's accepting this without any trace of pride. Sanatana Goswami had adopted the dress of a Paramahamsa. Therefore, it was inappropriate for him to wear the saffron cloth on his head. That means Babaji. So the Babajis are considered to be the gurus of the sannyasis. However, a Vaishnava sannyasi does not think himself fit to imitate the dress of the Paramahamsa Vaishnava. According to the principles set down by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of Trinadapi Sunichena, one should always think himself in the lower stage, not on the level of Paramahamsa Vaishnava. Thus, a Vaishnava will sometimes accept the sannyas order just to keep himself below the level of a Paramahamsa Vaishnava. This is the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Pakakari Jagadananda Chaitanya Samarpila Duijanavasi Tabe Prasada Paila. When Jagadananda Pandit finished cooking, he offered the food to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he and Sanatana Goswami sat down and ate the prasadam. Little fine pastime. Sanatana Goswami saying, this red cloth, this sannyasi cloth, it is not necessary for me. So I'm just going to give it to someone else. But it was given to me by a good devotee. So I wore it. And I'm so glad I wore it, because now I got to see your intense attachment for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that one would not even wear anything that wasn't given to him by Mahaprabhu. Prasada paye anyonye kaila lingana, or on the order of Mahaprabhu that someone else would provide that cloth. Prasada paye anyonye kaila lingana, Chaitanya vidyahe dunhe karila krandana. After eating the prasadam, they embraced each other and cried due to separation from Lord Chaitanya. Hey mata masa dui rahila vrindavane, Chaitanya viraha dukkha nayaya sahane. They passed 2 months in Vrindavan in this way. Finally, they could no longer tolerate the unhappiness of separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu rasandesha kahila sanatane, amiha asite chirahite kariha ekastane. Jagadananda Pandit therefore gave Sanatana Goswami the message from the Lord. I am also coming to Vrindavan. Please arrange a place for me to stay. Jagadananda Pandita Tapa Agya Magila Sanatana Prabhure Kichube Vastudila. When Sanatana Goswami granted permission for Jagadananda to return to Jagannath Puri, he gave Jagadananda some gifts for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Sanatana Goswami granted permission for Jagadananda to return to Jagannath Puri, he gave Jagadananda some gifts for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rasa stali ravaluar govardhane rasila shushkapaka pilupala aragunjamala. The gifts consisted of some sand from the site of the Rasa Leela, a stone from Govardhan Hill, dry ripened pilu fruits, and a garland of small conch shells. These gifts sent by Sanatana Goswami, they consisted of some sand from the site of the Rasa Leela, a stone from Govardhan Hill, dry ripened pilu fruits, and a garland of small conch shells. Jagadananda Pandita Chalila Shavalanya Vyakula Haila Sanatana Tare Vidaya Idila. Thus Jagadananda Pandit, bearing all these gifts, started on his journey. Sanatana Goswami, however, was very much agitated after bidding him farewell. Prabhura nimita akastana mane vacharila vicharila tvadasaditya tilaya akamata paila. Soon afterwards, Sanatana Goswami selected a place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could stay while in Vrindavan. It was a temple in the highlands named Dvadasaditya Tila. So it was in the higher land. So Sanatana Goswami, receiving this message from Mahaprabhu through Jagadananda Pandit, please prepare a place for me to stay. I'm going to come to Vrindavan. Seistana Rakila Gosai Sanskara Kariya Matera Age Rakila Eka Chauni Bandiya. Sanatana Goswami kept the temple very clean and in good repair. In front of it he erected a small hut. Sigra Chali Nila Chale Gela Jagadananda Bhakta Saha Gosanyi Haila Parama Ananda. Meanwhile, traveling very quickly, Jagadananda Pandit soon arrived in Jagannath Puri, much to the joy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees. Prabhura Charana Vandi Shabare Milila Mahaprabhu Tare Druddha Alingana Kaila. After offering prayers at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagadananda Pandit greeted everyone. Then the Lord embraced Jagadananda very strongly. Sanatane Raname Pandita Dandavata Kaila Rasastali Raduli Adi Shababeta Dila. Jagadananda Pandit offered obeisances to the Lord on behalf of Sanatana Goswami. Then he gave the Lord the dust from the site of the rasa dance along with the other gifts. Jagadananda Pandit offered obeisances to the Lord on behalf of Sanatana Goswami. Then he gave the Lord the dust from the site of the rasa dance along with the other gifts. Shabadravya Rakilera Piludilena Bantiya Vrindavanera Palabali Kaila Hristanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept all the gifts except the pilu fruits, which he distributed to the devotees. Because the fruits were from Vrindavan, he ate them with great happiness. It's not just a tasty fruit, but where it's come from. Jai ke hajane anti chushite lagila Jai na jani gaudiya pilu chavanya kaila. Those devotees who were familiar with the pilu fruit sucked on the seeds, but the Bengali devotees who did not know what they were chewed the seeds and swallowed them. Mukitara jala gela jiva kare jwala Vrindavanera pilu kaite akalila. The hot chili-like taste burned the tongues of those who chewed the seeds. Thus the eating of the pilu fruits from Vrindavan became a pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jagadananda agamane sabara ulasa Mate nila chale prabhura bilasa. When Jagadananda Pandit returned from Vrindavan, everyone was jubilant. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoyed his pastimes while residing at Jagannath Puri. All right, so we can stop here. That this begins another pastime. Tomorrow we'll hear about this. So many instructive things. So the Bengali devotees didn't know how to eat these pilu fruits, and they chewed on the seed, and they were very hot, burning. So this became a whole pastime. Hari Bol. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnu Padesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Shri Upadeshamrita ki Jai, Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki Jai. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam jiva vegam udaropasta vegam ekan veganyo vishaheta dira sarvam apimam prithivim sasisyat atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangaschalo yancha Sabya Bhaktir Vinashati. Utsaha nishchaya daryat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritte sabir bhakti prasijjati. So number one, the different urges. Number two, what is very destructive to the process of devotion. And number three, what is very nourishing to devotion. And then number four is Gatnati guhyam akyati puchati bhungte bhojayate chaiva sadvidam priti lakshanam. Number four, the relation, the exchanges of love between devotees. And now number five, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasti che pranati bischa bhajantamanya bijantamisham shishishaya bhajana vinyanya nindadi sunya hridam ipsitas Sangalabdya. All right, this is the relationship between us and the different persons who are chanting the name of the Lord. Dishtai svabhava janite vapushascha doshe na prakritatvamiha bhakta janasya pasye gangambasana kalu buddhapena pankhe Brahmadravatvam apagachati niradharmai. So not just pasya means don't see the faults, the ordinary, external, normal faults of the body and mind of a Vaishnava, of a great Vaishnava. They're not, just as so many things may be in the Ganga, but the Ganga is the Ganga. And then, Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kinvadara Anudinam Kalu Saiva Justa Swadvikramad Bhavati Tad Gadamula Hantri. I was trying to think of this morning and I couldn't, that word tad. I couldn't it wasn't matching up and I couldn't. Okay, so there's that word in there. Tad means that disease. So again, the holy name tastes bitter, but just like sugar is bitter to a person with jaundice, but that sugar will cure the jaundice. And then the person who has jaundice will taste the sweetness of it. Tannama rupa charitari sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyoja dishtan bhajena tadanuragi jaganugami kalam nayerakilam etyupadesha sharam. Engaging the tongue and mind in the gradual process of chanting and remembering Krishna's names, forms, pastimes, and so forth. Reside in Braja and spend all your time as a follower of those who have deep attachment to Krishna. This is the essence of all instruction. So, because we are hearing, this is the essence of all instruction. We must, remember how deep these instructions are. They will go deeper and deeper. Vaikunta janito varamadupuri tatrapi basotsavad rasotsavad Vrindaranyamudara pani ramana tatrapi govardhanha Radha kundamihapi gokulapate prebamrita plavanat Kuyadasya birajito giritate sevam vivekidakaha. Above Vaikuntha is Mathura, where Krishna took birth. Above Mathura is Vrindavan, where Krishna enjoys the rasa dance. Above Vrindavan is Govardhan, where Krishna plays amorously. And above Govardhan is Radha Kunda, where the nectar of Krishna's divine love overflows. What wise soul would not serve Radha Kunda at the base of Govardhan. Jai. Now the commentary by Srila Guru Maharaj Jai, Srila Bhakti Rakhat Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. It is written, but we all, so we're on page 227 right now, the big book. It is written, but we all overlook it. Vaikuntara Prityadi Shakala Chinmoy. The soil, the water, the air, everything in Vaikuntha is made of spirit. We have come from the Tatastha Shakti, and everything there has come from the Swarup Shakti. The higher potency, everything in the divine plane is made of Swarup Shakti. We jivas are an outcome of the Tatastha Shakti, the marginal, and they are all of Swarup Shakti. So only with the help of Swarup Shakti can one who has sprung up from the Tatastha Shakti walk over that land, which is more valuable than oneself. Only by help, only according to a visa, will one be allowed to travel over that soil. A passport can do nothing. There must be a visa. That means grace. Entrance is purely a matter of grace. The grace of the Vaishnava and the grace of the Lord, and never a matter of right. Yogis and Jnanis consider themselves subjects and see around them only the objective world. They do not have the faith, the shraddha with which one can enter the objective world. They do not have the faith, shraddha with which one can enter the super subjective world through the spirit of service. They don't have a service spirit. They don't want to be the servant. They don't want to be in an atmosphere which is higher than themselves, and therefore coming in the mood of service. They want that I am supreme. So I couldn't dominate the mundane world, so it's all Maya. It's just an illusion, and I'm just going to be one with what is supreme. I'm not going to go where I'm less. And so they're stuck in that situation. New life begins there, and that comes from within by grace. It is more subtle than the yogis and jnanis consider it to be. Excuse me. With Shraddha, one can cross the no man's land, the abscissa of Brahmaloka, and enter the land of dedication, Vaikuntha, which is more subtle and tasteful. And so we've come from the abscissa. We've come from that not here, not there, not up, not down. That non-differentiated, indescribable place. That is where we've come from. This is our nature. So we can return back there. We can get a passport through lots of trouble, through that process of Gyan. We can go to that position again, but again we will come down. We have to cure that fundamental disease in our consciousness, that I want to dominate. I want to dominate. I want to be the dominator and the enjoyer. We have to fundamentally cure ourselves of that problem. But that's not, even that's not going to bring us to the higher platform. When that can only really be eradicated through devotion. Through devotion and surrender to Krishna. That will bring us to the higher platform. It will take the root out of that thing which brought us here in the first place. It will take that root out. Mulahantri, Tadgata Mula Hantri. Mula means the root of that disease will be taken out. And then we can enter into a position in a plane which is higher than we are. That super sweet plane. And it is so fine and so high and so lovely. New life begins there, and that comes within by grace. It is more subtle than the yogis and jnanis consider it to be. They think it's part of Maya. With Shraddha, one can cross the no man's land, the abscissa of Brahmaloka, and enter the land of dedication, Vaikunta, which is more subtle and more tasteful. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you will see that the plane of dedication, but just below Vaikunta is Shiva Loka. Generally, Shiva is the representation of the marginal position. Still, there is an aspect of Shiva on the material side as Rudra, and crossing over the impersonal conception on the other side, the side of Vaikunta, the serving section, there is an aspect of Shiva as a devotee, and he is Sadashiva. The highest function of Shiva is on the positive side, where he is a devotee of Narayan. His lowest function is that of Rudra on the negative side, as the master of misconception, the leader of the opposition party, the top-ranked, misconceived soul. So he is the representative of all of that, of all of the plane of misconception and the individual souls. And that is as Rudra. And people who are worshipping Lord Shiva in that form, they want that. Because I'm coming to you, I'm going to get that enjoying position. There he represents the whole of the creation in some way or another. After crossing the non-differentiated area, Viraja Brahmaloka on the other side, just below Vaikunta, is Shiva Loka. And there Shiva is a devotee, because everything there has a serving attitude toward the center. Past Brahmaloka, it is all devotion. That is where real divinity is. Shiva on the lower side as Rudra is Mayadish, Mayapati, the master of Maya, and represents the general interest of all misguided souls. In Bhagavatam, Shiva says, Swadharma nishta shatajanmabi puman virinchatam eti tata paranghimam. If one can perform one's duty in the Varnashram system for 100 births purely, then one is given the position of Brahma, the creator of this whole universe. Brahma is the leader of the world of exploitation. He is created. He becomes a member of the creation. He makes decisions, and he represents the whole exploiting world. So here, Lord Shiva is saying, if one can perform one's duty in the Varnashram system for 100 births without any mistake, then one is given the position of Brahma, the creator of this whole universe. Brahma is the leader of the world of exploitation. He is created, he becomes a member of the creation. He makes decisions, and he represents the whole exploiting world. Shiva is just above him in the land of renunciation. There Shiva has some connection with the exploiting world, but it is in the plane of renunciation proper, Nivishesh, the non-differentiated area. So Shiva, Jai Mahaprabhu, Jai Giraju Ki Jai. So Srila Guru Maharaj said, in other places, and Gurudev also. Shiva Tattva is very, very difficult. He's represented in many, many different ways. He represents many different conceptions. There, Shiva has some connection with the exploiting world, but it is in the plane of renunciation, proper nirvishesh, the non-differentiated area. The result of pure renunciation is entrance into the non-differentiated area where everything is non-specified. Shiva covers this plane, but carries a tinge of exploitation from the lower side and a tinge of the serving attitude from the higher side as well. So here he's fully representing Tatastha Shakti. Tata param himam avyakutam. Shiva then says, next one attains my position as a liberated soul above Maya, which is not easily understandable. His position is not very clear because it is connected with nirvishesh, non-specification, and non-differentiation. So we can conceive of it. Bhagavato ta Vaishnavang padang yataham vibuddha kalatyate. Last, Lord Shiva says, but above me there is another domain which is known as Vaishnavapad, the plane where the Vaishnavas live and move freely in the service of Narayan. One day I myself expect to enter that domain. When the wholesale dissolution will come to be effected here, I aspire to become one of the Vaishnavas there. So those who are worshipping Lord Shiva, they should hear from Shiva about these things. And Lord Shiva is also speaking. So he's representing the Nirvishesh platform. He's representing the Jiva in the downward, the downward plane of exploitation. And he has his place above Brahmaloka also, as we just read in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Shiva's position bridges over the Nirvishesh plane and touches the Savishesh plane on both sides. He is in the middle, in the marginal position, the Tatastha, which is not this and not that, neither land nor water, but the meeting place of the two, neither matter nor spirit. What is matter? Matter is not things. Matter means an attitude. So in that Nirvishesh, Brahma Nirvishesh plane, those two potentials are there. And Shiva is representing all of that. So he, like the soul, the individual soul, he can go this way or that way. Both things are represented there, that both potentials. And where does this all center on? Free will. Free will is there. That's how it is there. This connecting position is difficult to understand, and Shiva's position is there, holding something of the water and something of the land. Meaning, it's like a beach, or just at the point where the land and water meet. That is the Tatastha. The jiva is also of the same nature, and the whole self-representation of the jivas as a class may be compared with that of Shiva. After renunciation, the jiva may attain the position of Shiva. The Shaivite thinks Shivoham, I am Shiva, is the highest position, but we say that after Shivoham should begin Narayana Bhaktoham, I am a devotee of Narayan. Shivoham was not the final point.
Can you read that again about Shiva? I thought Shiva was always Shiva.
He is.
So what did I just hear? Something about Jiva being...
The Jiva can come to the position of Shiva.
To that level.
Yeah, to that.
But not be Shiva, because Shiva's always Shiva.
Well, Shiva's an individual, as we all are.
Right? I'm clarifying in my own...
Yeah.
It's like Brahma's a posting, right? A post.
Oh, yes. No.
Right.
Not in that sense.
Right, so the Jiva can become realized to be at that same...
Yeah, because Lord Shiva is the representative of the Tatastha Shakti. So when the Jiva comes out of the mundane plane and returns to that non-differentiated plane from which he came, that is like Shiva.
Okay.
But it's not to be, it's not like that. And we're not admiring that position at all or aspiring for that.
Right, of course.
So he, okay.
Thank you.
It's not easy. I mean, I've read these things so many times, and I'm like, okay, turn the page.
So many subtle,
but
and little different layers.
But that after a while, sometimes you go, okay, a little something maybe comes through. So, but we are the aspiration of the Vaishnava, by the grace of the Vaishnava, is to go beyond that position. That is higher, but not higher in a mundane sense. It is coming to Trinadapi Sunichena. It is coming to the extreme point of humility. The extreme point of tolerance. Tolerance meaning it is manifesting in the heart. We're practicing tolerance now in the mood of surrender. But that is coming to that plane, which is gentle. It's not this, I'm going to conquer this, I'm going to win, I'm going to be in this high, no, it's negative in that sense. Negative coming out of that egotistic thing. So Shivoham is not the final point. Everything does not end there. Beyond that is Bhaktoham. I am a devotee. Bhakta Shivoham. I am a devotee Shiva. That is higher and will connect us with the world of dedication. So we are giving so much honor to Sadashiva. That is kind of like the connecting point of the divine plane. Shiva exists in there as well. So we are worshiping Bhakta Shiva, and he is existing and his devotees are all chanting the holy name in Shiva Loka, as we heard in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So if you can conceive of it like that Shiva is like the Tatastha. He's got that potential in the upper plane, he's got that potential in the lower plane. And coming to Shiva Loka is coming to that upper region, you can say. So Tatastha means like the beach, or the very plane, the very touching point where water meets land. That Tatastha can go to the water, can go to the land. We chose the land. We could say, let's say, we chose the land, and Shiva's on both sides of that. So that very first connection with the water, that is Shiva, Sadashiva. That is higher and will connect us to the world of dedication. So Srila Gurudev very mercifully installed Sadashiva in the temple in Navadvip and would visit him daily. Above Shiva Loka is Vaikuntha Loka. There Lakshmi and Narayan are worshipped with splendor and grandeur. The Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, the followers of Sri Ramanuja Acharya, consider the worship of Lakshmi and Narayan Vaikuntha the ultimate attainment, and they teach that only by Sharanagati can we enter that domain, this super subjective realm. So the Ramanujacharya is the grand master, the Acharya of the Sri Sampradaya, and he is a worshipper of Lakshmi and Narayan. And also in the Ramanuja Sampradaya was the emphasis on the service to the Vaishnava. One is not going on his own and trying to find Vaikuntha, but he is serving. He has a serving mood to the Vaishnava. So that was a very great contribution, meaning revelation coming through Ramanujacharya of that mood of Dadati, Patigrahnati. So many things that the Vaishnava becomes prominent. He's showing, no, the Vaishnava is there to be served. Not only Lord Narayan and ignore everybody else. That is not the mood of Vaikuntha. So he revealed that in his sampradaya to his followers. And they very much follow that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe I should grab the mic.
Okay.
You're saying that in Vaikuntha, the mood is not to only serve Narayan and ignore the rest of the Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
How about in Vrindavan?
Oh, even more so.
More so?
Much more so.
Isn't Lord Krishna, Govinda, the one that is the center of attraction?
Everyone is serving Govinda. Actually, we're the servant of Radha. We are the servant of Radha. Everyone, actually Radharani is she is the complete, she owns the service of Krishna. She is service to Krishna personified. We're serving her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that supreme conception comes down to all the servitors of Krishna. Mm-hmm. We are the servant, and Mahaprabhu said it so many times. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna's servant's servant. That is a very, very exalted position. In here, we want to be the big one. We got a big old body. We're coming out, everything's very gross. We want to be large and important and noticed and all these things, right? And that gives us so much trouble. But that is the opposite. There's the opposite of that. To serve anything connected with Krishna means you really are connected with Krishna. That is the symptom of that. We read many things about this, and of course this is very foreign for us. But that is the nature of actual love. And the sweetness of that love is intense, as the humility is intense. That humility is the thing which is the glowing light of the gold of love of God. That is humility. And it is that humility brings so much intense connection with the Lord. It is just the opposite of this plane, where humility means weakness. gross position. And we're all fighting with that ego of dominating. We get giddy with the prospect of exploitation. Giddy, you know?
Really?
Giddy. Giddy means excited. That's all coming from the excitement of the prospect of exploitation. It is so nasty compared to this sweetness of reality.
Should we feel nasty and gross about ourselves then?
Not ourselves, but our condition. No, I mean, you as you feel. But I'm trying to see these things objectively as far as I'm able to, although I'm fighting all kinds of battles all day long in myself with these tendencies. And Krishna is showing the tendencies by the environment. Something comes, and then I'm like, okay, I came out. Let's see what you are, this thing, this foreign thing. Guru Maharaj says it was like we've been conquered by a foreign influence, a foreign enemy. And we think, oh, that's me. Like a parasite. A parasite can enter into like an insect or a bird and practically control that bird, that creature. And humans too. When a child has got a lot of parasites, like particular kinds of parasites, because I've been reading about this in homeopathy, that they become very angry, cruel, intolerant, aggressive. And when the parasites are gone, all those qualities go. When you give them the remedy and the parasites go out, they become normal, very peaceful children. So it's like the parasites of ego controlling the soul. And the soul's like, yeah. But it's not real. It's not like who we are.
It's like those movies
of
Hollywood that the good guy gets inhabited by some weird alien demon or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not him.
It's that's exactly what the scriptures say. It's like the jiva becomes inhabited by a ghost. When a ghost inhabits somebody, and they can, if someone has got a particular weakness, a ghost can enter into that person and that person is taken over. And it takes a particular type of person who can get that ghost out. Ramanuja did that. There's a story in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, and Srila Gurudev tells that story. So the princess, the daughter of the king, was inhabited by a ghost. She said, "Whoa!" She just suddenly was crazy and doing all kinds of crazy things and screaming and whatever. So they knew, oh yeah. So they brought an exorcist, a person who has some ability to communicate and get that ghost out, but he couldn't do anything. But the princess spoke in a man's voice. He was a Brahmaditya ghost, means he had been a Brahmin, and he was very powerful. And that exorcist couldn't do anything. But she spoke with that man's voice. I have been cursed, and the only one who can relieve me from this curse is Ramanuja. You bring him here. Give me relief. The ghost was speaking through the princess. And they brought Ramanuja, and by the grace of Ramanuja's presence, that ghost became purified, offered obeisances, and left, just by being near him. Jai Shishi Guru Gaurachandra. That's why when we're singing in the prayers to our Gurudev, just by seeing you, all sins go far away. Such is your mercy. Such is the quality of your mercy. We are trying to come out, but we have attachment to our captors.
I'm going to put the Barleys on. I forgot. I want to do it.
Sure. Jai Mahaprabhu, Jai Guru Ki Jai. So many things to be spoken about, but this is very, very instructive. It's appreciated. These choices of purports that were chosen by Tyagi Maharaj and other devotees also sometimes. I think, we were suggesting also other things that we had heard that might be appropriate for these commentaries that would be appropriate to these different verses. But Tyagi Maharaj did the most of this choosing, and they're very, very good choices to help us to illuminate these finer points. And this is that verse about Vaikuntha and the different gradations. Above Vaikuntha is this and this and this. So there are so many things to be understood in the cosmos. Cosmos means the order of things. Things are not a big chaos. When we perceive chaos, it is in the mode of... It means that we are covered by the mode of ignorance. And we can't make sense of anything. We can't perceive anything, any order. But that doesn't mean there isn't any order. It means that we're influenced by the mode of ignorance. And so in our consciousness, things look chaotic. But they are not. They're not chaotic. One scientist like the chaos theory. Well, just stuff happens. It's like, okay. You needed a PhD for that. But no, there's so much order. But it is mundane in this plane, with according to gradations of consciousness, as we have been seeing, and in especially in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where Sanatana Goswami is acquainting us with how is everything, who is everything, what is our relationship with different things, what are planes of consciousness, and so on. And then above that, above Brahmaloka, is the divine cosmos, the divine planes of different gradations of devotion. Jai Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, beautiful Mahaprabhu. Jai, beautiful Giriyaju Ki Jai. And beautiful garlands Ki Jai.
And Anya Sundari, she showed up, did the garlands. It was very nice.
She's such a nice servant. She stops here on her way to work and wants to do seva before she begins her work day. Jai Shri Upadeshamrita Ki Jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Ki Jai. Was that helpful?
Yeah, it was very helpful.
Okay.
See our condition.
Yeah. Know thine enemy. That's an expression in military science. Know thine enemy. Know your enemy. Know who your enemy is.
Oh.
Thine. It's old English. Know thine enemy. Know who your enemy is. Don't go swinging your sword in any direction. Know who it is that is the problem. Who the real enemy is, and go there. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Guru Maharaj said, don't waste your time fighting with this and this and this. You will lose your time. Rather see the Krishna's hand and surrender and find by his grace, oh, that was an enemy of mine. And now I see that. Because we can't even see it. We can't see all the enemies inside of us. And we can't, and the ones that we can see, we don't know for sure that it is an enemy. Even though it's causing so much disturbance.
Yeah, hard to see the enemies.
So if we really want to be a warrior, we have to stop swinging our swords at things that are not even a problem. We have to get to the problem. How brave are we? Die to live. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, arise, heroic man. Anyway, gradually we will. But we have to continually hear. Because the noise of the mind and the ego is very, very loud. So we need to constantly hear about truth. And subdue that big, noisy dog inside. Hari Om. Jai Shri Padeshamrita Ki Jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad Ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnu Pad Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Really went over time today. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govindaram Shrimati Giridhari Gopinath Madanamo Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Radha Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghuna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghuna Hey Jai Gosai Koli Charanavanda Jai Te Vignana Shavistapura Hey Jai Gosai Jammutarada Tansavara Pararenu Mor Panchagra Tandra Charana Sevi Bhakta Saneva Janame Moreya Bila Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Bache Koilaba Hey Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Kodila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhajrindavan Sabra Shri Guru Vaishnava Paramachayama Shri Guru Vaishnava Parapadma Koriya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Saparikasi Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Ji Ki Jai. Jai Shri Kiraj Govardhan Ji Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astatar Siddha Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa excuse me Parivrajakaacharya excuse me, sorry. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astatar Siddha Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakha Shri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Laharidas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Shaka Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari oh sorry. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Srimati Shri Lekha ki.
Jai Gurudev Ki Jai. Hari Bol. Dandavat.
Tungrasa Devi Ki Jai. Bimal Krishna Prabhu Ki Jai.
Hari Bol.
Krishna Priya Devi Ki Jai. And Q is here with us.
Oh, good.
Dandavat, dear devotees. See you tomorrow.